You've learned what it means to be a safe, responsible gun owner and hunter. You've hunted hard and done your utmost to be skilled and ethical in every part of this adventure, and now you're ready for the final phase, the art of cooking your kill. Many hunters, including the ones you'll see in this episode, consider the meat they cook from the animals they've taken to be just as much of an art form as any mount in a trophy room could be. And I'll be the first to agree with them. Let's step into this exciting world of cooking with familiar faces and some new friends on this episode of Love at First Shot. I'm Natalie Foster, and this is Love at First Shot, sponsored by Smith Wesson. First up in our Field to Fork series, we're headed to Kansas City to visit one of the very first friends we made here on Love at First Shot. I'm here in beautiful Overland Park, Kansas, where we'll be chatting with our good friend Julie Golob all about the Field to Fork movement, and we'll be cooking one of her famous recipes. So let's get over there and find her, shall we?
How are you?
Found her. I'm here with the lovely team captain of Smith Wesson, Julie Golob. It's so fun to see you again.
Yes, likewise, likewise.
Of course, we've chatted with her before, but this time we're talking about a whole new topic, and that is the Field to Fork movement.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a really interesting phenomenon that a lot of women, a lot of moms in particular, are getting into, right?
Absolutely.
And was that a motivation for you when you started to cook this way, or did this happen long before that?
Well, I've always been a foodie, so
Yeah.
I've enjoyed food, but I didn't really start cooking it until I had a family.
Yeah.
And wanting to cook healthy for them really took a priority, so.
And if you see Julie's Instagram or Facebook or any social media that you're ever on, she's got these amazing dishes that she makes very frequently for your family, right?
Yes. We almost exclusively eat venison for our red meat.
You told me before that cooking venison is a very specific skill, right?
I wouldn't call it a specific skill, but you definitely need to treat it differently than other meats. It doesn't have a lot of fat content, so you have to think about that when you cook it. And the two best ways to cook venison are low and slow, think crock pot, simmering all day, and hot and fast, a really hot sear, which is really a great way to cook if you're a busy mom or busy in general, because you can always let it cook all day long and leave it.
Yeah.
Or if you only have 15 minutes to get a meal ready for the family, venison allows you to do that.
There are lots of other dishes that you can cook pretty quickly, right? That are Field to Fork and delicious.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of times we think ground beef is the way to go for everything. Well, ground venison offers so much potential in dishes. So between ground meat, which you'll always have a lot of, you can make your own sausage. You can do so much with venison, just like you can with any other meat out there. You just have to think about how you prepare it.
All right, fabulous. Well, I am ready to start in on this amazing dish. Shall we head over to our test kitchen?
I'm excited to have you try it.
Okay, let's go. The Kansas City area is full of other foodies just like Julie, and fortunately, it's home to a variety of test kitchens. This one is exactly what we'll need to make her famous Faux Pho. Okay, we're here in the kitchen, and we're about to start in on Julie's Faux Pho, which I'm very excited about because I love pho. All right, so talk about what we've got here.
Sure. One of the things I love about pho is, as a family person, not everybody likes everything at the dinner table. So with a dish like pho, you can kind of mix and match whatever the person likes. So
that's such a good point.
we have some cilantro, some bean sprouts, and lime, green onions, and then red onions that are sliced super thin. And then we also have some jalapenos. And up at the front, we have some hoisin sauce and some sriracha sauce.
Okay.
And those are the ingredients that you can kind of mix and match in your own personal bowl of pho.
To make it a little more spicy or whatever you really are looking for.
And the rest of the ingredients that we have here are actually going to go into the broth, which is the fun part. Now, the reason it's called faux pho is because authentic pho, it's a long process to make the broth perfect. It's clear and light and flavorful, but we're going kind of the quick route, the quick mom route.
Which is fine, exactly, because as we've noted, it is, you know, when you've got a family and you want to cook very healthy meals, you also have to do it quickly.
Do you want to get started?
I do want to get started.
Okay. What we have,
mainly just because I want to eat it. That's why.
What we have here is some cheesecloth.
Okay.
And we're going to make a little sachet
Oh,
of wonderful kind of dried herbs here. We have some cinnamon, some star anise, some coriander, a whole bunch of different stuff. So you can just pour that in the middle.
Okay.
Just like so.
All right.
Isn't that so
including-
pretty? So we'll wrap it up like so.
Yes.
And then you can tie the string. That's basically the spices. Into the pot it goes.
Okay.
Along with the broth.
Your standard.
Now don't go crazy about the broth and just kind of pour it in gently.
Okay. What are you expecting out of me?
Well, what we have here is both chicken broth and beef broth, and that's because we want to try to get that light flavor. If you go all beef, it's going to be overpowering, and we don't want that to happen. So we're kind of mixing things up a little bit. Go ahead and grab the garlic up there. We're going to throw that in there as well, and just dump it all in. There you go, just like that. And then this is some sliced ginger.
Was that violent?
No, it was okay.
Okay, good.
And it also adds a lot of yummy flavor. Okay. So
I do love ginger. That was kind of violent. I mean,
I admit that was a violent pour there. And I like to, a lot of people like to put the onions in as they make their pho, but I like to have them cook a little bit more. So I'm gonna go ahead and put all the onions in right there.
Okay.
Would you like to cry a little bit?
Oh, so mean.
Okay, put that away. And we're just gonna put a lid on it, and we're gonna put it on high on the stove and let it boil. Now let's talk about the actual meat.
Okay.
The main part of this whole experience, and it's right over here. And basically, this is, you don't have to really be picky about your cut of venison. You can go with a nicer backstrap or sirloin cut kind of thing, but you can also use anything, a hunk of meat.
Really?
Because it's gonna be sliced so thin that it'll be super tender. And so what's gonna happen is we're gonna pile these bowls with the ingredients, we'll put the meat on top, and we'll pour the hot broth, and it'll cook it instantly.
Oh, okay.
And because it's sliced so thin, it'll cook fast.
Yes, exactly. Let me in on your secret to slicing this so thinly, because it's really, I mean, it looks challenging to me.
It's actually pretty easy. I slice this with an actual meat slicer. I process my own deer at home, so I actually have a slicer and can get it super thin. But you can do it with a knife as well. If you stick the hunk of meat in the freezer for about 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, it'll start to harden up, and it'll make it a lot easier to get that paper thin.
I see. And you've also mentioned on your blog that you can also take it to your butcher, and he can slice it if you don't have a meat slicer, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so the other thing we need to do is start prepping bowls, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what do we need to do for that?
We have basically, this kind of serves 4 people.
Okay.
So we have 4 bowls. And we're gonna go the authentic eating route with some Asian style spoons and chopsticks.
Which is fabulous.
So one thing you do want to avoid is you don't want to just clump the meat on top of everything, because you want to make sure it gets to the liquid, gets it to cook it. So if you have a big ball of meat, the inside won't get cooked.
Okay, that's a really good tip.
Ready?
I'm ready.
All right. I'm gonna bring it over, and we're gonna ladle the broth in. Now you can take out the sachet and all this other stuff, but I just tend to leave it in there and just get things going. Ready? Instant cookage. Ooh, I made a mess already.
Yum.
Just like so.
So, as you can see, the broth really does cook the venison right there in the bowl. You can see the difference between the cooked and the raw. There's a huge difference. It's gonna be so delicious.
And because it's cooked hot and fast, it'll be super tender. So now, let's go ahead and personalize any one of your bowls.
Okay.
You have jalapenos if you like it.
I do love jalapenos.
Okay, I'll get a couple little spoons here. Some sriracha and hoisin. Now, I always recommend trying the broth plain first and then adding slowly, because you don't want to overdo it.
And you really can serve it just like this, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. My kids prefer it this way. Well, my daughter adds lime because she really likes limes.
And lime is delicious.
Yes, it really does add a lot of flavor.
It really does, but you can serve it just like this, and then you have everything else out on the table, and people can add whatever they like.
Absolutely.
I do believe it's time to give it a try. What do you say?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, great.
All right. Try a little broth first. All right.
Yep.
Go for it. You like? It's super tender.
Nailed it. Julie, thank you so much. I'm ready to dig right in. And of course, you can find this recipe, which is Faux Pho 2.0, on Julie's website, which is
juliegolob.com.
So you can get this and so much more over there. And Julie, thank you again. We look forward to much more from you. And I don't know about you, but I'm ready to go have lunch.
Absolutely. Let's go. Okay.
Just as with hunting and shooting, there are some supplies you'll need when cooking the meat you've harvested on your adventures. Getting started, whether you're tossing your favorite cut or catch on the stove, you'll need some flavor for your meat. And Cabela's has a line of coating mixes which are perfect for frying, baking, and searing. Now the cooking section in their store and online has rubs and seasoning for everything, including pork, steak, brisket, ribs, and chicken. So be sure and check it out. We'd love to hear your stories and all about your adventures over at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Love at First Shot, sponsored by Smith Wesson. I'm headed back to my home state of Texas to learn how to cook mouth-watering dishes for a crowd. Chef Michael of Joshua Creek Ranch has been cooking wild game for 30 years, and he'll share his secrets with us next time on Love at First Shot, sponsored by Smith & Wesson.